In this video, we're going to be doing a review of the XTOOL XT90. Basically, I bought this tool. This was not sent to me for free. I did pay for it. I bought it with a pretty good discount, but I did pay for it. I wanted a tool for home that I can like diagnose anything. And, you know, I'm a technician for a living, but at the end of the day, at home, you still need something to work on your own car. So they have all kinds of scanners, like the scanner that I did last week. Or a couple weeks ago, I did a review on that. That's a really cool scanner to have at home, but I want something more advanced. So this is pretty much the way more advanced scanner. We'll talk about price, what's included, what it does. It actually does so much that I had to make a list of everything it does, besides from, you know, your typical read codes and all that, because I want to make sure I cover everything. This does a lot of things that the newer cars need. So if you have like an older car, let's say to 2018 and down, you're not going to have to worry about all the features that this thing has. But if you do plan on working on newer cars, there are some features that you kind of must have. So we'll go through everything, but we'll do an unboxing, see what it comes with, turn it on, see all the features it has, and then we'll plug it into both of my cars. We're going to try it on my F-150, which is a 2021. And we'll try it on my 2013 Audi S4. The Audi, I'm kind of curious to see what it does, because it claims that it does guided fault codes. So basically when you have so the factory tool, which is oldest for Audi, when you have a code, you can literally click on that code and it'll give you like a test plan. BMW has their factory tools, XTOOL, which I've used plenty of times. Same thing, you get a check engine light. That code, you click on that code, it gives you a test plan. Go here, check this. And so this says that it does that for both BMW and Audi and Volkswagen. So we'll see if it does it for mine. Mine's an older, it's a 13 S4, but it'd be cool if it did that. I do have, for my Audi, I do have VAGCOM, which is like, it's not a factory tool, but it does a lot of the factory stuff. And then for my truck, I do have ForeScan, which again, I can go in there and code modules and do all that. It's again, not a factory tool, but it does a lot of what a factory can do. So I do have specific softwares for both my cars, but I want something that I can literally just power on, plug it in, and I have a bunch of features that your typical, you know, $300-400 scanner won't have. So yeah, let's unbox it, see what's included, and I'll go through all its features. All right, so let's unbox it. It has a nice plastic case. Set this aside. All right, so very nice plastic case, metal clips here. Those are awesome. The plastic ones are kind of crap. I hate the plastic clips, so I'm gonna open it up. Looks like there's a lot here. Let me make sure the camera is in the right spot. It is. All right, so you got your quick start guide here. So it shows you how to, let's see what's in here quick. It probably just shows you how to get started, how to connect it or whatever. So which cable to go into where. Okay, so then you have your packing list. This is for you to make sure that everything that's supposed to be included is included. And then you have your quality certificate with your serial number here, which I covered up. I'm sure you can get your serial number by going inside the tool and not going into about. But yeah, so this is just paperwork. Over here we have one little adapter that's just loose in the wild. This is a BMW adapter. So if you have a BMW and you need to use this type of connector, you can do that. Then let's see what the accessories are first. Then we'll look at the scanner. Got nice little latches here. Open these up. All right, so let's see. So here we have, looks like power adapters for all the countries. So we have the regular US adapter, USB-C. Then we have all these here. These two for other countries, which we're not going to use, so put that back in the bag. Then you got a USB-C to USB adapter, probably for data transfer. So you got that. You got your power cable to cigarette lighter in case you want to diagnose a car for a long time and you want to charge it. While you do that, you can do that from the car cigarette lighter port. Then you have all these adapters here. So this one here is for Mercedes-Benz. This is your regular OBD2 adapter. So one end goes into the scanner. The other end goes into the OBD2. This is what most people are going to use the most. This is here. And then this goes into your VCI. Then you have, so most of these adapters, most people won't use, but I'll show them anyway. They're all labeled. So you have your Audi, a special adapter, your Citroen, you have your universal, then you have your Mercedes-Benz, you have this type of little adapter. A lot of these are OBD1, Mitsubishi. Then you got Mazda, special connector. You got your Toyota, special connector. Kia Hyundai, special connector. Honda. Your GM. Fiat. This looks like one of those HID bulbs type of connector. That's funny. You got your Nissan, your Kia, and the last one, Suzuki. So you have a lot of adapters if you need it. Like I said, most people are going to be using the regular OBD2, and they'll never touch these adapters. Everybody that owns an Autel or any scanner that comes with all these adapters, they have the scanners all beat up and all these connectors are brand new because nobody uses them. But there might be some people out there that do use them. And then the last thing I want to show you is the Borescope. It does come with a Borescope, which is kind of cool. So I'll show you here. Here's your flex. You take this little cap off. You have a camera here. I'll show you guys working when I turn the scanner on. And then you can take video, photo, and brightness. And then this plugs into the tool. So that's cool that it comes with one. We'll use it and see how the quality is. I do have a Borescope with the screen that I use. I don't know if I will use this expensive scanner as a Borescope because I have a dedicated Borescope. If I drop that, it's only a couple $100. If I drop the whole scanner because I'm trying to maneuver this thing and get video, I'll be pretty pissed. But regardless, it's cool that it comes with it. If you don't have one, this is better than nothing, and you can always be extra careful with it. So let's turn this around here. All right, here you got your VCI. So this is actually Wi-Fi. So one end of that cable that I showed you will go here. If I can plug it in the right way. Okay, and then the other end will go into your car, and you do have a power connector here if you want to plug it into the immobilizer boxes, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But either way, this plugs into your car. This will come on. This will connect to the scanner via Wi-Fi. And this is your VCI. Now we get to the actual scanner. Pretty good size, really good size. So here it is. I already took this out of the package and I updated it because if I was to make this video and show you guys all the updates, you guys will be here for 3 days. It took a while to update because there's so many makes and models. And that's another thing we'll talk about, erasing makes and models that you don't need to save room on the tool. So let's take all this stuff out of here. As you guys already saw what's in the box, and I will turn this on and see what it does and talk about all its features. There was 2 more cables included that I forgot to show you guys. USB-C to USB-C comes with it, and then USB-C to Type B connector. This is used to plug into your VCI and hardwire this to the tool instead of using Wi-Fi to communicate with it. For ECU coding and programming, you do not want a wireless connection when you're doing programming. You want to be wired to prevent any kind of issues. So yeah, these are also included. All right, so let's power it on and see how it looks like. Press and hold the power button. While that turns on, we'll go around and check it all out. You have your power button here. This is just a place to rest your finger. You do have a USB-C port right here. That will be for your charging and your Borescope. Other than that, there is no other ports on this tool. It's got a nice little boot screen there. Back here, you do have an 8 megapixel camera, which you can take pictures and video. And then you have your nice aluminum kickstand. So boots fairly quick. Like I said, the first time you start this up, you're going to have to select your language and the name of your shop if you want to have one or whatever. And it's going to do a couple updates, but that is literally the first time. And that's why I already did it. That way, this video can be a lot faster for you guys. So it booted up pretty quick. As you can see here, I have my FAB It Garage account. All you need is an email, and then you have your account. So VCI not connected because, again, this has to be plugged into the car. For this, it will be turned on. So we'll set this aside for now. Does have a 9.7-inch screen, so it's pretty decent size. It's not too heavy, but it's not light either, so it definitely feels pretty quality. It does have 128 gigabytes of storage. So one thing I'll talk about real quick here is if you go into diagnostic. So let's go back to updates. Before I go into diagnostic, you click updates. I'm not connected to a Wi-Fi right now because I'm out in the shop and the Wi-Fi in the shop is down. But once you turn on the tool, you do your registration and all that, you connect to the internet, and you will click updates, and you will see a list here: Toyota, Honda, and a download button on the right side. So if I was connected to the internet, this here will be a list of things that I can install. And the only things I can install right now are cars that I'm never going to work on, like China cars, all these brands that I don't have in this country, in the US. I didn't download because there's no point in downloading software, using up hard drive space when you're never going to touch it. And what I recommend is go through the list of the updates. Only select the cars that are in your country. So Honda, Toyota, whatever country you're in, select just the cars that are in your country, because the less download of software you have in your tool, the faster it'll probably work, because it doesn't have to access a ton of software, and it'll also leave you room for updates. So as you keep updating your tool over the years, that all takes space. Some updates are bigger than others. So always make sure you don't download unnecessary software, because you might need the space later on. So this is fully updated, and I'll show you here the ones I have. So I did leave some here that I downloaded, which I don't have in this country, and I'm going to show you how to delete it. Sometimes when you download from the update page, it will download extra cars, because some of them are packaged, like Volkswagen Audi comes in a package, but then it will also give you, like Europeans, it'll also give you some other cars, like Skoda. I don't have Skoda here in this country. Why do I need that? But when you download Volkswagen Audi, it kind of downloads with it. And the cool thing about it is if you press the brand that you don't want and hold, see the little check mark in the bubble? I can check and uncheck. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see. Oop, I almost dropped the camera here. So I can now check and uncheck any software I want. So I can go right here all the way down. I don't have Seat, I don't have Skoda, I don't have UAZ, I don't have this, I don't have Opel. Let's see what else. Anyway, you go through the list. Whatever ones you don't have, just delete. And this is just going to delete the ones that you clicked and not the whole package that you downloaded. So I already did my other cars here, and I left the Europe one untouched so I can show you guys. So let's talk about what this does. Let me turn the camera down a little bit here. All right. Let's talk about what this scanner does compared to like your cheap scanner. So first of all, this thing has 3 years update, free updates. That is really good because like Autel and Snap-on, they none of them come with like 3 years updates first off the bat, and when they do, they're wicked. They're a lot of money to update after that. X2 seems to be offering the more for your money as far as free updates for the first 3 years, and then the actual updates are not that much money. So you do get 42. If you go to special functions, you have 42 special functions that this scanner can do. Now, don't take this to heart. This is not gonna do everything for every car. So immobilizer, it will only do certain cars. Power balance, it will only do certain cars. So this is why technicians typically have a combination of scanners. No technician has just one scanner that does it all. Typically, a technician will have 2 or 3 or maybe 4 scanners, and them combined will do pretty much everything that that person needs it to do. But no scanner does everything. So you always want to have a combination of scanners. But anyway, we'll go through all of these here and talk about them. So immobilizer is for you to program keys. If you want to, this does program keys. I only need to buy the adapter that goes with it. Let you go into your instrument cluster and change things there. It does power balance, language change, activate, deactivate transport mode, AdBlue reset for the diesel vehicles, TPM reset for all your TPM services and programming sensors, rain light sensor, relearns, air and fuel resets, hybrid vehicle batteries, gearbox match, crank sensor relearn, FRM reset, steering angle sensor relearn, oil reset for most people that do their own oil changes. They want to reset the oil light or the maintenance light. That'll do that. Electronic parking brake for most people doing brakes at home. Newer cars have electric parking brake, and you need to be able to put it in service mode in order to just do a basic pad and rotor replacement. Then you have your ADAS calibration. That is very important for a tool to have because it'll calibrate all your cameras and all your sensors for your ADAS. Your headlight, like my Audi has adaptive headlights. When you go over bumps, the lights kind of follow it, so you can play with that. Coolant bleeding. Usually there's like BMW has an electric water pump, and you can activate that pump to help you bleed the cooling system after you've done a repair. So it's cool to have that. You don't really need the tool to do it. On a BMW, you turn the heat all the way up, you hold the gas pedal all the way down, and you turn the ignition on, and you keep holding the gas pedal, and after like 5 seconds, the pump will kick on and it will start bleeding the air out. But it's nice that you can go in here and actually just activate it and do it. Suspension for like Mercedes, BMW, mostly German cars. You have air suspension, hydraulic suspension and stuff. Let you go in there and change things there. Your NOx reset for the diesels, again, same thing as the AdBlue. Your NOx sensors are your exhaust sensors. Seat calibration. Most fancy cars, you have to learn the stops on the seat. Your EEPROM, that lets you read and write on your immobilizer module and read the pin number. So unless you have the pin number, you can't really do anything as far as keys and immobilizer stuff. And this actually lets you go in there and read the pin, which is a lot of tools do not. So that's pretty cool. ECU configurations lets you put in a new ECU and program it. It does online and offline programming, which is really cool. Then you got your control unit reset, so you can go in there and reset your control units. You have your BMS. Oh, go back to that. I don't know what happened here. Where was I? BMS. Your BMS reset. That's to tell like BMW, Audi, Mercedes that you replace the car's battery. You have to go in there and basically tell the car so that the new battery doesn't get overcharged. Odometer reading. You can. I don't know if you can change the odometer down, but you can up. So if you have a car with 100,000 miles, you can buy a cluster that has 80, and you can come in here and you can type in 100, and it will go up in mileage, but it won't let you go down because then a lot of people will be doing fraudulent, lowering the mileage on their cars. So this is a good way to make sure that the cluster in your car matches your mileage after a repair. Your throttle adaptations, learns all your throttle stops. DPF, that's for your diesel particulate filter for your diesels. I don't have a diesel, so I don't have to worry about it. ABS bleeding, you can bleed your brakes using the ABS pump. Most Chevys, that's the way to do it with them. Some cars, the air just will not leave the line if you don't bleed with a scanner. Speed limit, you can probably set some kind of reminder or warning for a certain speed. You might even be able to lock like a governor. I'm not sure. I've never went into this here before, but we'll play with it, see what it does. Clutch adaptation you can do. You can do your start stop reset. You might even be able to turn it off. A lot of people hate that. I do. You can write VINs on ECU. You can relearn your EGR. You can relearn your HVAC systems like the blend doors and stuff. Some of them need to be relearned. Again, learn the stops. Your airbag, SRS. You can initialize your windows. Some cars have door modules and they have to initialize the windows before they start working. You can do your VGT relearns for your turbos. You can do injector coding. Let me turn this here. So you can, when a certain car, especially German cars, when you replace injectors, some of them have a code on the side of them. Some of them are calibrated and they have a calibration code that you have to put in order for your vehicle to run properly after. Your airbag reset. I don't know what this one is, SRS, and this is airbag. SRS and airbag are similar, pretty much the same thing. So I don't know why there's two, but. And then your tire size, you can change your tire size to make sure your odometer and your shift points in the transmission are the same. Like if you put big tires on a truck, it will change your shift points because the transmission uses like speed and ABS inputs in order to make the shift. And once you put big tires, it changes that. But this, you can go in there and tell the vehicle, hey, I have this new tire size, go by this and recalculate your stuff. So this is just your list of special functions. Again, this will do most of what you need, but not every feature works on every vehicle. So if you want a scanner that everything will work on your car, you most likely not going to find because that doesn't exist. So going back here, you have your special function, which we did. You have your updates. If you go to more, you have your profile, which is your email, your name, your workshop. You can type in your workshop name, address, or whatever, and then subscription services. Again, here's my serial number here. When I activated it, and I have 3 years to renew. Your endoscope. Let's try that right now, actually. So let's see if so my endoscope, the camera quality is amazing. So let's see if this one here is decent. Because if it's not, it's going to sit. And so it does have LED lights in here. It has a camera and lights like mine does. And if it doesn't have good quality, this is going to sit in a box. So let's see here. Plug it into your, that turns on. Let's click. Endoscope is really a borescope. Endoscope is a term mostly. Oh, yeah, it's trash. Yeah, not even close. This, I would not be using this. This is a, oh, actually, nah. Maybe just from far away, it's trash. let's see if I was to be looking at something. All right, it's not too bad. Up close, the graphic is a lot better. From far away, it's horrible. So yeah, up close, if I was looking at like inside an intake or inside an engine, inside a cylinder, it's not bad. I guess if you don't have, and then you click home to go back to home and back to diagnosis. If you don't have one, this is cool. I have one. This will do nothing for me. Mine has a camera on the bottom and a camera on the side, so I can press a button and it'll basically point at the valve so I can see if I have burnt valves. This one here is just one camera. It's cool, but I'm not going to be using that. And then your user manual will be in here. You probably do need, I wonder if you do need internet now. I think this is saved on the tool. So you have your user manual here. So it's cool that you have that. Go back to the, so again, this is basically a tablet. So if you swipe up and you press home, this is basically your regular tablet that you know, your Amazon Fire Stick. You're not really going to do much in here other than the app for the diagnostic. But other than that, you really won't do much here. So you got your remote control. This is so like X2 can come in and access the tool and like help you diagnose something with a tool, or basically like a remote, like a team viewer. You have your settings. Again, goes back to the main settings. You can select your language, your unit, or US units, metric, imperial, your USB setting if you want data transfer mode or expansion mode, your sound and display. I like my brightness all the way up. I don't like the volume too loud. So, and then your about, you can get your serial number right here, like I said. So report, every time you connect to a car, when you go to exit out of it, it's going to want to save a report. You don't have to save it, but if you do, like if you scan someone's car and it has all the codes, it'll save a report. Next, if you want to reveal those codes without having to reconnect it to the car, you just go into report, and you will be a list of all the vehicles you connected to in the past. And CSV view will give you a graph if you want to graph a certain sensor doing something. We'll go through that once we connect it to the vehicle. If you click diagnostic, it'll give you your, vehicles to choose from. Or you can click right here, auto scan, and it will automatically try and figure out by itself what vehicle you're connected to. So if you're in manual mode, you can still click VIN right here and click auto scan. But I guess if you're in manual mode and you decide you want to go to automatic, you can do that. But and then XTOOL logo here, that's for, it goes right to the website for extra resources and updates and stuff. So you're not really going to be using that much. So yeah, let's connect this to my cars and see what it does. I do have a list here of everything that it does do. So you can do 42 functions as I showed you guys, 3 years free updates. You can do activation or actuation tests. When you connect to a car, it does have topology, which I'll show you. It's basically showing all the modules and what CAN bus they're connected to. So another thing that it does is the Fiat Chrysler security gateway module. So on 2018 and up, Chrysler and Fiat, you can no longer go in there and start going into modules and clearing codes. There is a gateway security module that prevents you from doing that. You can connect a scanner and you can go in and you can read codes, but it will not let you clear them. They do make bypass cables for those cars, but the problem with that is they usually hide the module all the way behind the radio or inside the dash. And the only way to plug in that cable is to find the gateway module and unplug that and then pigtail right off of that connector. That includes taking your dash apart and possibly breaking trim pieces and stuff. So it's not the ideal way of doing it. The ideal way of doing it is to use the auto authorization system, which is you have an account online and you pay, I think, is $50 or $100 a year, and you're basically allowed to go in there and read codes and clear codes. So you get a login and a password. You pay by year, and then when you select over here, you go into America and you go into Chrysler. It's not going to connect because I don't have the VCI, but it's going to say, hey, this car is equipped with the security gateway. The only way to go forward is if you have this account. If you do have the account, this would allow you to log in and keep going. So this scanner does support the auto authorization feature, which is awesome. And again, this is on the newer cars, and I wouldn't be surprised if other makes and models start doing that too. So I already told you guys that they claim that this does Volkswagen, Audi, and BMW fault code guidance, which is basically a test plan on how to fix that code. So we'll see if that will work on my Audi. It does online, offline coding and programming for Ford, Lincoln, and Mazda. Does online coding and programming for Volkswagen, Audi, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz. It does support the DOIP internet. Is a digital over internet protocol, and what that is like my 2021 F-150 probably has it, is where I will be able to connect to my truck without actually connecting to my truck. So if my truck was on the road somewhere, I would be able to connect to it via internet and diagnose it, which is kind of cool. So again, this is all features that are on newer cars coming soon, or coming out right now. My truck already has it, but Volvo's actually been doing that since 2017. So it's on their XC90 models, I believe. So BMW's been doing it too. So it's newer things that you probably won't have to worry about it for a while, but it's coming, and then this tool will do it. This also supports CAN FD, which is basically 2018 and up vehicles. It's a form of connecting to it's a CAN bus that is way faster than your typical low speed and high speed CAN bus. This will literally deliver like data packages like way faster and connect to the car way faster and scan the whole car way faster. So it does that. And not only that, the CAN FD is more reliable and more secure than your typical CAN networks. So it's cool that it supports it. I can buy the little adapter to plug it into here. You power this and then you connect it to the VCI to actually program keys. So it'll program keys for a lot of makes and models. They focus more on European stuff, so I can program keys from my Audi. I buy this little box called the KC501 or the KC100. The KC100 is the older version. The KC501 does everything that the KC100 does, but it adds a bunch of other features. I do not have that. I don't know if I plan on programming keys, but if I want to program keys to my vehicles, at least I know I can do it because the scanner is capable. And we'll talk about the price a little later on. So for now, we're gonna go outside. Let's connect this to the Audi and let's see what he can do. All right, so we are in my 2013 Audi S4. We're gonna go in and see what this does. So we're gonna click auto scan. It's gonna try and figure out what kind of car it is on its own. It picked up that it's an Audi. It says if it's a 2019 or newer to open the hood. Mine's a 13, so we're good. Picks up all the information on the car. Press OK. Now over here you have a lot of options. So you have your pre and post scan, your automatic scan, your CAN scan, which is for cars after 2005. And I'll explain what that does. Full system diagnosis, common special features. So these will be like your oil reset, on and off transport mode, electronic parking brake, seat calibration and that stuff. This is just a common Audi services. ADAS calibration, online programming, component deprotection, which is a big deal on these cars. Online parameterization, coding, coding backup, ECU configurations, guided functions and help. So we're gonna go to, on Volkswagen and Audi, you have a thing called Fast Scan, which is this here. And what that does is, if I click automatic scan, it's gonna scan every module in the car, and it's gonna pull up whatever code it's in it. Fast Scan, what it does is it basically just goes to every module super quick and pretty much asks, hey, do you have any codes? Okay, I don't need to know what they are. Just let me know if you have codes or not. Raise your hand, pretty much. So if you click here, it's going to scan the whole car so quick. Watch. Boom, done. The whole car has been scanned. And basically, it'll tell you if there's a pass, that means there's no codes on that module. I know my radio has a code. So if you see right here, radio, fault, that means it's telling me that I scanned the whole car, and out of the whole car, the radio is the only one that has a fault. So this is useful because if I know I have an ABS light or an engine light or whatever, I can come here, I can do this super lightning fast scan, and then from there I can just click here, radio, and then click diagnosis. Now I'm going in only into the radio. So I was able to identify that certain modules had codes in them, and in order for me to find out what they are, I had to click on them and go in them. Now I can read DTC, and it's because I have a connection with my antenna, which I know about. So that is a very fast way of scanning for codes. And I can actually clear codes from here too, so that's kind of cool. But I'm going to go the old-fashioned way. We're going to do full system diagnosis. Actually, we're going to do auto scan, because auto scan is going to show this. So this has topology. So this is basically showing all the modules that the car could have, and it's going to try and connect to them one by one. So, but it also shows you all the CAN lines. So you have your PT CAN, your comfort CAN, and your info CAN. So it's nice to know what computers are connected to what CAN line, and that's what that's for. But if you don't like to have the topology map, you can also click list and just have your old school list. So under here, the topology, everything that lights up green is normal, no codes. Everything that lights up gray, it means it's no response or not equipped. So on my car, it pretty much means all the gray ones, I don't have it in the car. Anything that lights up yellow, it's going to have a code in it. So when this gets to the radio, it's going to light up orange or yellow. Oh yeah, orange. Telling me that there's a code in there. So I'm not gonna. So this car has 55 modules. I'm not gonna make you guys wait. When you're scanning like this, you see what I mean. This is actually going in and reading the codes and getting it ready for you. So this will take way longer than if you just go and do your quick CAN scan. But that's only for European cars. If you have a Honda, you're gonna have to do, the only way you have is to go in and do this auto scan. Or if you know exactly where you're going, like let's say you have a Toyota Corolla that has an ABS light on, then you can go into select Toyota Corolla and then go right into the ABS module straight there. Don't even scan the whole car, scan just that module. That'll be nice and fast too, and I'll show you. So let this finish up. It's gonna basically try and scan the whole car. It's at module 31 out of 55. Again, my car might only have, based on my options, might only have 25 out of 55 modules equipped. So once this finishes, I'll show you guys. All right, so this just got done probably 3 minutes after I ended the first footage there. As you can see, my radio came back lighting up orange, and it shows 2. That means I have 2 codes stored in there. So it's kind of cool that it tells you how many codes are stored. And if I want to go in it, I can just click on it and then click diagnose. Now I'm going into just the radio. You see the radio here says diagnostic mode. And again, now it'll bring me to this menu here where I can read ECU information, I can read codes, I can clear codes, I can watch live data, I can check the freeze frame data, I can actuate things, I can do adaptations. So if you're not a German vehicle specialist or a German vehicle enthusiast, this adaptation and all this stuff here is not going to be for you. You're not going to be able do all this stuff, because you really need to know what you're doing when you're adapting things on these cars. But if you are familiar with German cars, you're gonna know exactly what these are for. So we're gonna go read codes, and again, the 2 codes I already knew I had. So go back, it'll go back to the map. So any module that's green I can access. Any module that's orange has a fault. So if I wanted to go into engine, even though I have no codes, I just click engine. Again, the only problem with this is you need to know what the abbreviations are. So for example, BRE, you don't really know what that module is until you click on it, brake electronics module. But if you want to just be able to go in easier, like by description, then you click on list, and then you know, airbag, electronic, climate control. This is easier for you to know which module you're going into. Compared to this, you have to know the abbreviation, which as a technician, I'm used to this, but I find myself using the list a lot more often than the topology map. It's just nice to know when there's a module down or multiple modules down. It's nice to know which can it's connected to, because sometimes one bad module will pull the whole can down. It's nice to know which can it's connected to so you can properly diagnose it. All right, so let's go back and do a manual scan. We're gonna go diagnostic. Over here, you do have a tab for my vehicles, and basically this is just the favorites. If you own, you know, like I do, I own a Kia, I own a Audi, and I own a Ford. This is your favorites tab. Instead of having to go in here and search for your brand, it's already on my vehicles. And you can also add to it or remove to it whenever. So let's say I just bought a Mercedes-Benz. I can go my vehicles, I can click add. I want to add Mercedes-Benz, complete. Now Mercedes-Benz still going to show up under Europe, but it's going to be also showing up on my vehicles favorites list. If you want to remove a car, let's say you sell the Benz, you go to edit right up here on the right, you click Benz, and you click remove. If I click there you go. Now Benz is out of the list. So let's go to Audi. Actually, let's go into OBD2 quick and see what we can see. This is your protocol to log in. Most scanners will just do auto scan, and this is just going to do your basic read trouble code. This is just going to be engine only. This is what inspection stations will plug in and read. You can do readiness test. You can see if your car is ready for inspection or not. So this is just your basic, you know, $20 scanner. Plug it in to see engine codes. Let's do a system. Let's do a system selection. Okay. We're gonna go under full system diagnostic, and we're gonna go under engine. So let's say I want to record or graph something. So let's see here. We're gonna go into live data. And we're going to go to default data, which is just the default stuff that most people can see. So let's click, let's say, so this here will give you a list of all the live data. My car is idling right now, so it shows your RPM and everything. If you want to see just, let's say I want to see just engine RPM and coolant temp, I don't want to see any of this other crap, then you can just basically select what you want to see and press custom. That'll take all that other crap out of the screen and let you see just that, because it can get confusing if you're seeing like 20 different things changing at once. And then you go back to display all to go back to the main screen. Let's say I'm looking at coolant temperature and I want to record it. I can click custom just to separate it if I want to, but I can also click record. And basically what that's doing is that's recording the value for coolant temperature. You can see here. And then I can click pause. I can continue, or I can click save. Save. Okay, so that's saved. I can do a preview if I want to. So if I click preview, I can see right here, it'll be a graph of the coolant temperature. And basically that's a graph showing me. So that's cool that you can see that. We are gonna move this to my 2021 F-150. Okay, we are in my 2021 F-150. So this will be how most scans gonna be for most cars. Again, European cars have some other features and menus that are very different. So we're gonna go to auto scan. We're gonna go to Ford USA. Picks up my vehicle. Okay. Make sure it's connected online in order to do the complete content, which is all the coding and programming. Okay. Now you got your typical auto scan system selection. So again, if you want to do auto scan, and it's going to bring up the topology map, and it's going to literally scan every module in the car, which will take a little while. But this does not have the option to do the fast scan like the Audi does, where it'll scan every module super fast and not tell you the code, but tell you that there's a code in it. So the only option for this is to actually scan the car, the whole car, or if I, like I said, if I have an ABS light and I know that's where I'm diagnosing, then I can go to system selection and find ABS and go right into ABS. But I'm gonna do a whole scan on the truck. I know I do have codes on this car, so we'll see what that does. By the way, let's say I'm doing a computer, engine computer. If I want to pause it, right, it'll pause, and then it'll let me go into this computer here, powertrain control module, and diagnose it. So it's cool that it lets you go into the modules that it already scanned. You can access them before you scan everything else. So let's say, like I said, you're going into ABS, and you see that the ABS has a light. You can pause it and go right in it and not have to wait for all the other ones. But obviously it's a good idea to scan the whole vehicle. So again, list, you got that. Service, let's see what it does. Powertrain, so you can do electric, pedal, reset, transmission, power balance, reset, keep alive memory. Well, let's see what the transmission does. Okay, so it does the transmission shifting tables. So power balance, let's see what it does. Okay, yeah, I don't want to do that. So there's some options here for chassis, electronic parking brake, calibration of electronic stability program. For body, you got reset, batteries, learning value, security, electronic power steering. That's awesome that it does that. Reset, learning value, air conditioning, power window initialization, tire pressure initialization. That's cool. So this has a lot of features that the other scanner does not. Service function, new module initialization. That's awesome. Speaker audio test, reset configuration of parameter. That's cool. So it does a lot for the service. You can get into live data once you actually scan it. So let's go into system selection. Let's go into powertrain control module, which is what we had a code on. I do not have a check engine light on, but I do have a code. So we'll see what it is. Read code, retrieve code, lost communication with active air dam module. And this is on because I removed the front air dam on this truck. Basically, it comes down automatically when you're doing 30 miles an hour. And it tends to get jammed on this truck. So, and once it gets jammed, it screws it all up. So before mine got jammed, I removed it. It makes the front of the truck look so much better. You do lose about a mile per gallon because it does help with MPG, but it makes the truck look better. And I took mine off before it got damaged. So if I ever decide to sell the truck, all I got to do is put it back on and I'm good to go. So all it means is that it's unplugged. So it's not really anything wrong with the truck. So that's cool. You can go into clear DTC, read DTC. You can go to special functions. Again, you get your special functions right there. So let's see where live data will be. My fingers are all coated with oil. Alright, so maybe live data will be if I have to do an automatic scan. Let's see. So I am extremely surprised. The basic of the basic, this scanner does not have, and it's live data for engine. That is literally a $20 scanner will have that. And I couldn't find it, and I was like, this is usually when you go into powertrain control module, there should be a live data button right here. And if you go into like ABS, this one has live data. So it's just engine that doesn't have live data. I have dedicated software for this truck, but for a tool that costs over $1,000, this should be under engine. It should be able to see live data. So one way that you can see live data is if you go into diagnostic and then you go into OBD2. There's no way this does not have live data under OBD2, and if it does, I'll be happy, but if it doesn't, I'm going to throw this scanner against the wall. So there we go, live data. So if you go under a regular OBD2, you will be able to see all the live data from engine. But why doesn't this show up under Ford? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. So here's the whole list of live data. And you cannot access this through the Ford app, which is insane. So XTOOL, if you're watching this, you have some work to do. Make sure live data shows up on Fords, because it's literally very basic stuff that should be included, especially in a scanner at this price range. All right, so sorry for the long video. I was trying to show you guys all the features of the scanner, and I didn't get to show you all of it, like the programming, the coding and all that. I didn't get to show you that because obviously I don't have anything to program, but the tool supposedly does it. At some point when I need to do programming, I will make a video on it, showing you guys the feature. These two tools here, they obviously way different price ranges. So this one here costs $1,500. It's $1,495, I believe. That one there was on sale for $329, but it's usually $399. So obviously this one is packed with way more features than that, but they also do different things for different people. This will be mostly for your technician, like me. Like I want to have something at home that's just as powerful as something I have at work. So this would be a better choice for me. For a car enthusiast that you just kind of play with your cars, but you're not really serious about going to school and learning how to repair your own car, then that scanner is perfectly more than enough capable for you to do what you got to do. You can read codes, you can clear codes, you can watch live data, you can learn. You obviously wouldn't go try to program a key without you ever doing it before, like something like this, because you can probably mess something up. Programming, coding, stuff like that, you have to be careful and you have to know what you're doing, because you can really mess up your car if you don't do it right. Especially coding. You can change coding and your car could be acting completely different. And it's just, you really have to be careful. So, I mean, what I dislike about the scanner, the VCI cable is too short. Yeah, I can plug it in and have it sitting next to my foot, but I like to usually have these on top of the dash. I like for the cable to be at least, double the length, so I can plug it in and put it on top of the dash, because if I'm outside the car, walking around the car, watching some kind of live data or something, I like it to be right up top so I can get the best signal I can, especially live data. If you have poor signal, your live data will be very sporadic and very slow. If you have really good signal, it'll be, instant. So I like to leave this on the dash. So what I actually have, so I wish they would made this longer, but because they didn't, I actually had a extension, which you can buy on Amazon. I'll have a link below if you guys want to buy one of these. It's just a male-female OBD2. So basically just plug it in here, and then this end will go on the car. The VCI can now go anywhere on the center console, on top of the dash. So it's not really a deal breaker, and then this here, you will plug in that cigarette lighter adapter that came with it. So if you wanted to charge your scanner while you're using it. Or if you have a key coder, like the KC coders for keys, then you will put power to here, and then you will connect it to the key coder to do the keys too. So again, not a deal breaker, but the next thing I don't like is the Borescope. The Borescope is okay. The video quality up close is okay, which is really what you need it for. You don't need to see far away. But I don't like the fact that it only has a single camera. For a scanner in this price range, it would be nice to see a Borescope with dual cameras, so a 90-degree one and a camera facing down, so that way you can look up at valves and see if you have burnt valves. I have a $200 little screen, everything built in with one of these, with one of the cameras, and the picture quality is amazing, and it has both cameras that I can move up and down, do whatever. So it wouldn't be much more money to add a second camera to that, and it would be a way nicer feature than just that. The one thing I really don't like about it is the fact that on Fords, I don't know if it's just my truck or if it's every Ford, but it's probably in the app that they have to fix. There is, when you go onto the computer, like I showed you, in your computer, there is no button for live data. There is no button for actuations or bidirectional controls. That is basic stuff. On $300 tools have it. And the reason I did try the $400 tool, and that also does not have it, but I also figured out, I believe VDiag tool is like a sister company to XTOOL because the software is identical. Other than the splash screen, when you click into the menus, so when you go to like manual scan on both, they are literally identical. Same vanilla, same everything. So I think they're running the same software. I just think that this one is packed with more features. And that is why when I go into Ford here, so if I go into Ford, it says version 15.90. When I go into Ford here, 15.90. So it's literally the same app. So whatever app they release for Ford on this one, it's going to be on this one. So if this one does not have live data and actuations, this one doesn't have it either because they're technically downloading the same app. I don't know if they're two companies into one, but whatever. I do not like that. And the last thing that I don't like about it is it would be really nice, and I know they already do on some of their tools, it would be really nice if they had a dock for this. So I can basically have charging, I can put it on a dock and I can have it charged from a dock. Any $1,500 tool should have a dock. I don't know why they didn't make one for this. It's such an expensive tool, and you have to charge it with a USB-C. It's whatever, but it would be nice to have a dock. It makes it a more professional tool that you grab all the time. You leave it on all the time, and you just grab it and go and do your diagnosis. But you can't have everything. Maybe they'll upgrade the next one. The things I do like about it, the screen is nice and big, nice and bright. The battery life is really good. I worked on both my cars, and the battery was still at over 70%. So that was really good. It has all the features for the newer cars, like the DOIP. It has the CAN FD, and it has the auto authorization for the 2018 plus Chryslers and Fiats. So it opens up doors for me working on newer cars in the future. If I need to, I know it's capable. So it's cool that it has that. It's cool that it has a wireless VCI. Like this one is wired. This one is Wi-Fi. So that's pretty cool. A lot of the newer scanners are wireless. And I do like how it has 128 gigabytes of storage. That's pretty big compared to a lot of other scanners. So you can pack this thing with updates. That's a lot of room to have in a tool. So that's pretty cool too. And it works pretty fast with the quad-core processor that they put in this. Everything is nice and quick. There is no like crazy lag or anything. Sometimes some screens it does lag a tiny bit, but it's really not bad. So would I recommend this for a car enthusiast? No, I would not. For the price, $1,500, a car enthusiast should get that $400 scanner that does less stuff that you really need. Like a car enthusiast is not going to be trying to code keys, and you might, but you also might not. But this is more for a technician. So that's where I'll leave it at. If you guys have any questions on the scanners or anything like that, feel free to shoot a message or leave a comment. But as of right now, this is the reveal. I'll be keeping this. I love it. Like I said, I did buy it with my own money, and it would be nice to have something at home that is more professional and packed with features. So that way I can work on newer cars, or if I buy newer cars, I'll be able to work on them. And that's really what I wanted it for. Plus the 3-year update for free. It's freaking awesome. One thing about Xtool, they release updates a lot. So basically the Ford app, in about a week or 2 weeks, there'll be a new version of the Ford app. So maybe they'll fix that live data thing. Maybe it was just a bug. But they do release a lot of updates, and you can literally update as they come. You can just keep updating. So we'll see how it goes. But as of now, I love the scanner. A couple little things that has to be worked. But other than that, it's awesome. So I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.